All right, now you should have completed lesson number 2 on creating icons and submitted that on Schoology. And so now we proceed on to lesson number 3, which really just has to do with colors, a little color theory, and a little bit of mechanics of how you work with color in the Adobe XD program. So this is not a big thing, but this is lesson number 3. And if you go to Schoology and get to the UI XD section of the computer science course, you'll see a folder, lesson number 3, colors and gradients. That's what we're doing. Inside that folder, same kind of setup as what we've had. There's a link for turning in your work when it's done. You do have some work to do, and there is a PDF that will describe this assignment, which you can take a look at to your heart's content and look it up and look at it and see what you're supposed to do. I've got it right here. This is the PDF, and this is what we got going on here. We're going to get set up with just like a custom template. It doesn't have to be any certain device for this. We're just going to learn a little bit about colors. And I'm going to ask you to create some boxes, really just boxes, that have some warm colors, some cool colors. Excuse me. We'll talk more about these as we go along. Some monochrome colors. All right. And then some gradients. Now you'll notice if you'll look at the warm colors, the cool colors, and the monochrome colors, it says a set of 5 boxes, and they're each going to have, for example, on this one, they're each going to have a warm color, and it can't be the same warm color. All right, so and we'll talk more about warm, cool, and monochrome as we go along. So this is going to be 5 boxes here, 5 boxes here, 5 boxes here. When you get down to the gradients, it's only 3. And I'm going to ask you to design some gradients, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So this is not it's not going to look pretty when it's done. It's going to be a bunch of boxes that are different colors. That's all it's going to be, but you're going to learn a few things by doing it. So I'm going to hop over here to XD and do a demo. All right, I've just got XD started. I'm just going to click on custom size on the template right here, and I'll go ahead and just stretch this out into my recording window. You guys could maximize the program, hit the maximize button if you want to, but I'm just going to stretch it into my recording window. All right, so we're starting with warm colors. Okay, well, I'm going to make a box, and then I'm going to use my arrow tool because I have to have 5 of these for the warm colors. So I'm going to alt drag those boxes. I'll hold the alt key and drag, and I don't really care how they're spaced out. You will see that Adobe XD does a pretty nice job of trying to help you line things up and space things out a little bit. All right, now because I know that I'm going to do 5 boxes here, and they're going to be warm, but I also know I'm going to want 5 boxes for cool colors, so I'm going to select all of those, hold the alt key, drag them down. Those are going to be the boxes for my cool colors, and I'll just make sure these are selected, and I'll drag those down. Those are going to be the boxes for my monochrome colors, and then for the last ones I only need 3 for the gradients. All right, so I'm going to do like that. I'm going to select and do the alt drag thing, and yay, good. All right, so we're going to go, and you can label these if you want to get the type tool and go warm, cool, monochrome, and gradient and put labels on them. Go ahead. You don't have to do that necessarily for me, but you can. All right, now just, this is a kind of a little bit of color theory, maybe, I don't know what you want to call it, but warm colors are considered to be like the reds, oranges, and yellows. And this is a Google image search for warm colors, and it shows you the kinds of colors that are usually considered warm colors. Like if you look at this color wheel right here, they've got it divided into warm and cool, and the warm colors are over here in the reds, orange, yellows, a little bit of purple. Purple is where the transition kind of happens, and green is where the transition kind of happens over here. So you can do a little Google search and see plenty of examples of warm colors and cool colors. All right, well, so back here in Adobe XD, what I got to do here is just, like on this first row, I want warm colors. All right, so it's red, oranges, and purples, right? So I'm going to get in here, and I got to use this little ramp thing on the side. On the side of the color picker, right? And so just tweak it, man. Get in there, and all right, yay, good. And I'm going to go to the fill box. All we're going to do is fill these up with kind of a variety of what you consider warm colors, and don't get any 2 of them just alike. I want different colors, and you just select it and go to the fill, and this I'm going to try to get up more, a little bit more toward yellow. Well, maybe down just a little bit with that, and more kind of goldish. See, I'm getting just kind of a range of colors there. All right, and then I want to get a little more yellowish on this last one here. Yellowish, almost getting into green. All right, so it's not really a super hard thing. I want to lighten that up a little bit. All right, so look, that's a row of warm colors. Reds, oranges, yellows. I did it. Yay, good for me. I'm trying to familiarize you a little bit with these ideas in case, I mean, most of you probably know from an art class or whatever. All right, now cool colors are up here next. And again, if you do a Google image, you already kind of saw it, but cool colors are the purples, the blues, some of the greens. You know, the greens, the deeper greens are considered cool colors. And look at do a Google image search if you need to. All right, cool. Back here. All right, so it's like purples. Some purples, blues, some deep. I'll go like deep purple here, and maybe on the next one I'll stick with the purplish kind of idea, but I want to lighten it up some, right? And get a lighter purple. That counts. That's a cool color. All right, and I'll go with, we'll get into some blues here, and I'm going to go with kind of a deeper blue, and then I'll go with kind of I'll get into the blues again, but I want to go with a lighter blue. Yeah. And then the last one, again, they all got to be different. All right, don't give me any two that are the same. I can't see, that one's covered up. But there we go. Those are cool colors. Yay. All right, our next row is monochrome. Now, what you got to do with monochrome, and again, I did a Google image search, but monochrome means you got to stick with kind of a shade, like all blues or all grays or all reds, or I don't care if it's warm or cool, but you got to pick kind of a color and get different tints of it. All right, so it's kind of like I go here and I say, let's say that I want to do greens. Okay, so I'll pull the ramp thing here into the green area, but I want to start with a kind of a really dark green. And then on the next box, I want to stay with the green, right? But I want to lighten it up. I'm gonna get a lighter green. These all have to be greens. Monochrome means that we stay inside that same color family. I want all greens, and I'm just going to kind of get them lighter and lighter and lighter. And you could do all reds, all blues, all grays. There's a million ways you could do it. But you get the idea. This is what monochrome is. All right. And on this last one, I'm going to get into a really light green. Almost, we're getting over toward the white part of the color picker here. It's almost like a mint green. Hey, that's a monochrome row right there. Yay. Cool. Did it. All right. Warm, cool, monochrome. And again, remember, the monochrome could have been, those could have been shades of blue or shades of red or shades of gray, whatever. All right, the last row is gradients. All right, so what we do here is we just start off with I'm just going to pick a color to start with. But then if you look at the color picker, at the very top of the color picker, it says solid color, and there is a drop arrow. All right, so we're going to go to gradient. When you go to gradient, you get what's called a gradient ramp. Usually in design, it's called a gradient ramp. And there's a little circle at one end and the other end. And like right now, this circle, if I click on it, it's represented by red. That's the color. I could change it, right? I could make it green or whatever. And if you'll look at my square down there, it's changing as I change it. The other circle on the other end is a darker red, and I could change that to be something else if I wanted to. Now, here's the other thing you can do. And what I'm asking for here is 3 custom gradients, right? I could take this down to black or whatever. So even that would do. Look, I wound up with this little circle on this end being green, and this little circle on this end of the ramp being black, and yay, it's a gradient. Cool. All right. Now I'm going to pick my next one, and I'll go to fill, and I'm going to go to gradient, because I want to show you this. You can add other, on the ramp that's at the top, you can add other circle markers in there, and then I could come along here, and let's say that this circle marker, the first one on the left, I want it to be, I didn't get it selected, sorry. I want it to be blue, right? And then the second circle selector, maybe I want it to be red. And then the third one, the third little, and you can put as many of those little markers on your gradient as you wish. You can have a ton of them on there if that's what you want to do. So I made this thing that goes from blue to red to yellow and back to blue, and you see the gradient being applied to the square to the shape that I have. And by the way, this could be done with any shape with a circle or a pin shape or whatever. All right, so I got one more to go here. I'll just go to the fill box. I'll switch it to gradient and just set it up. I just want you to get in there and pick, you pick a spot and you get a color, and that's going to do it. I mean, this is not like super rocket science here, folks. Not sure I love that. Not sure I love that. I kind of like that. That's a very warm color gradient there, right? You got reds and yellows and oranges. Now I will show you this real quick on this last one. This movie's about over. This little bar that's on the gradient, you see what you can do with it. When you are working with a gradient, you'll have a little bar like what I've got here, and you can move it around and change the angle, stretch it, and reduce it, and things like that to make the gradient custom even further. You can pick the colors, and you can also customize it like this to make it be whatever you want it to be. All right. So really, folks, that is it. Look, my artboard thing is done here with my warm colors, my cool colors, my monochrome colors, and I've got 3 different gradients. Now, again, and I just get into what I'm doing. I would, if I were you, when you get this thing started, and I'm just going to call this colors, save it often, right? Even when after you do your first row, come up here and do a save as and give it a name. And then we've kind of talked about this. If you hit Control S, it will, you add a new row of colors and you hit Control S, and you add another row of colors and you hit Control S. That way, if the program gets glitchy on you, or if it just kind of messes up a little bit, then you don't lose what you did, right? Save often. I'm not always the best at doing that, but it's a really good idea early on when you're working on this to get in here and do save as, give it a name, and then while you're working on it, every time you make an addition, you save it. Just hit Control S, Control S, Control S, and save your work really, really, really frequently. And that way, if anything glitches out, you won't lose it. All right, the only other thing you would need to do here once you have that artboard all laid out is you get back over here to Schoology and please submit it for me. Turn it in for me. All right, have at it. Your turn.